Good morning, fifth graders. We are moving on to a brand new unit today. So our next section is about graphing. Now today, because it's our very first day of this unit, I'm going to warn you there's going to be a lot of vocabulary. But don't worry too much because you don't have to learn it all today. It's just going to be words that we're going to be using for the next couple weeks. Okay? All right, so we're on page 75 in your student journal. So page 75. It's Unit 10, Lesson 1. And our goal today, or our objective, is so long that I'm actually going to start to write it up in this area. Okay, so our objective or goal is today I will identify the parts of a coordinate plane and plot or identify an ordered pair. Wow. Okay, that is quite a goal for the day. Today I will identify the parts of a coordinate plane and plot or identify an ordered pair. So before we can even understand that goal, we have a lot of vocabulary to discuss. Okay, again, don't get overwhelmed. We're going to be using these words and practicing them for days. So that today we're just going to take some notes that we can refer back to. Okay, so what is this coordinate plane? So a coordinate plane, it tells us, is an area defined by a vertical Y and a horizontal X number line. Okay, so we're going to kind of draw one down here. So what I want you to draw is I want you to draw a line down there and a line down here. This is a coordinate plane. So when it tells us there's a vertical Y, this is the Y. And I still remember my fifth grade teacher, she always helped me remember the Y is like that because it just continues. So she had us do a Y that way, and I still remember her. That's our Y. Okay, and then that means this line has to be our X. Okay, so this whole thing is called a coordinate plane. Now in fifth grade, we only deal with one part of it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. These are called quadrants, like quad for 4. So we only deal with what's called quadrant 1 right here. So this is the only area you're going to be worried about this year. These you'll be dealing with in 6th grade. Okay, so this is our quadrant that we're going to be dealing with, and they call it quadrant 1. So I'm just going to kind of cross those off right now because we're not going to worry about that till 6th grade. Okay, the next part says a point. It's an exact location on the plane. So that would just be a point somewhere on here. Okay, this is called our x-axis. It's our horizontal number line. So horizontal looks like that. Our next one said, what is our y-axis? Well, this is our y-axis. And I realize I just skipped a word. Sorry, axes. Axes is just when we say them plural. So they're called axes together, and if you notice, they're perpendicular because this is creating a 90-degree angle. Okay, our next word's pretty important. I'm going to put a star by it. It's called the origin. Now, before I read that, I just want you to think about the word origin. Usually when we think of an origin, we think of where something originates from or comes from or it begins or starts. So this says the point where the vertical and horizontal axes intersect at 0, 0. So right here, this is called the origin, and it's 0, 0 right there. And it's where it begins. So where it originates or where it begins. Okay, This says x coordinate. It's the first number in an ordered pair. So before we read that, we should probably read what an ordered pair is. An ordered pair is two numbers used to show a point's position on a coordinate plane. The first number is the x coordinate and the second number is the y coordinate. So you're going to see something that has two numbers in parentheses with a comma. The first one is always your x and the second one is always your y, which is easy because in the alphabet x comes before y. So this is called my x coordinate and this is my y coordinate. And then the coordinate point is the actual point. So the ordered pair tells you where the point goes. Now I realize that was so much information. Do not get stressed out. Again, we'll be practicing and practicing. Okay, let's look at our notes where it says steps. There's only one step I want to add. So we're gonna put on top that we're always write x, y on, sorry if you have to squish like I do, ordered pair. Always write x, y on your ordered pair. I have seen so many people make silly mistakes. Oh my gosh, boys and girls, or you did not get to see that because I didn't move the camera. Always put x, y in your ordered pairs. I've seen so many people make silly mistakes because they just were getting confused. This will help you prevent those silly mistakes. Okay, there's a lot of notes right now, so remember, you always can pause the video and get caught up if you need to. Okay, but I'm going to go on, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So, here is my first question, and I have a red pen, so you don't have this question. Notice this is the quadrant 1, because here's the origin. So if you look back at my picture, this is where we're just talking about this section like I told you. Okay, so here's my origin right there, 0, 0. Okay, and notice here's my x and my y. So they gave it to me, which is nice because sometimes they don't tell you. Sometimes you kind of have to find out that on your own, which one's the x, y, but they told me. Okay, so they want me to graph it. Okay, but I want us to just always pay attention to the origin. So that's always where you start. Okay, so in the steps, what did I say is we're gonna always try and do? We're gonna put x, y on top of all of our ordered pairs. Okay, so now it's pretty easy. I'm gonna find on my x line the 4. So do you see the x line? There's my 4. Okay, so this tells me I start at my origin and they want me to move to the 4. Okay, my y, though, is an 8. Okay, so where do those two meet? Well, they meet right here. That is where it is. Notice where I put the dot. So your ordered pairs or coordinate points when you plot them always go like that. They don't go inside. So they don't go inside, they always go right where they meet. So make sure you put them in the right spot. That's where 4, 8 is. Okay, so I did my lines. Sometimes when people get better at this, they just use their fingers. I'll show you that on another one that we do together. Okay, let's look at my next problem. My next problem is a little bit different. This time it says, what point is shown on the graph? So this time they gave me the coordinate point, they want the ordered pair. So they want me to tell them what the ordered pair is. Remember, the ordered pair is always in parentheses, my x and my y with a comma between it. Okay, and again, here's my origin, and they already labeled my x and they labeled my y. So I could come down here and say my x is 2 and my y is 7. So it seems like there was a lot of vocabulary, but the actual math is not too tricky right now. Okay, so again, this is our quadrant 1 of our coordinate plane and my origin. This is my x coordinate and my y coordinate. My x-axis is my line and my y-axis is my line. Okay, let's try one together. So you're on page 76 in your book. Okay, so the first thing they want me to do is graph. So I'm gonna always put x, y, always, always. It's such a good math habit. Okay, so I see my origin. They want me to find the 6 on my x-axis, which is right there. And on my y-axis, they want me to find a 4, which is right here. So what I said earlier is some people, when they get really good, they like to just slowly use their fingers. That's nice because sometimes when they give you just one coordinate plane, they'll want you to plot a whole bunch of points. And then when you get really too many lines, it gets confusing. So if you could just use your fingers and go really slow, and there it is. And again, remember, it goes right where they meet. It does not go in the inside. That's not where we're putting it. Okay, so that is exactly where 6-4 would go. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, my next one says, what point is shown on the graph? So this time they gave me the coordinate point. They want me to write the ordered pair. So my ordered pair is parenthesis, x, comma, y, parenthesis. Okay, so here's my origin. Here's my x-axis, and how nice they gave it to me, and here's my y. So my x is 4. And if you didn't want to do the line, you could have used your fingers. And your y is 6. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of talking today for a lot of vocabulary. I want you to try page 77 on your own and have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.